I recently spent several days at Cedar Breaks National Monument, including several hikes. All of the material would be too long for one video, so I will do it in several segments. The first part will travel the park road and shows what you can see if you only have a short time to visit. We start here at the north entrance, just a few miles south of Brian Head Town and Ski Resort. Here is the official park map. As you can see, the road runs along the eastern boundary of the park. An interesting aspect of this park is that driving through, it mostly appears to be a nice alpine area, but doesn't seem to be unique beyond that. However, occasionally you get a tantalizing glimpse of something more off to the west. But you must stop at an overview and walk a short distance to really see what it is. Note that there are several such overviews, as well as several interesting trails along the road. Here you can see the North View Overlook, a short distance from the entrance. Note also the Rattlesnake Creek Trail starting just outside the entrance. This is one of the hikes and will be covered in a later show. Further south we come to the Chessman Ridge Overlook and the Alpine Pond Trail. There's a trailhead parking pullout at the north end of the trail, but no overlook. On the south end of the road, we find the Sunset View Overlook and the Visitor Center with the Point Supreme Overlook. Here also is the Ramparts Trail, which leads to Spectre Point and the Ramparts Overlook. The North View Overlook, which turned out to be my personal favorite. A view to the south, some of the formations, and a panorama view. The North Trailhead for Alpine Ponds. The yurt here is the Winter Ranger headquarters. Chessman Ridge Overlook, named because some of the formations remind people of chessmen. Looking south, we can see the tourist corral at Point Supreme and the beginning of the Ramparts Trail. Panorama view. Some information on park critters. This is also the South Trailhead for Alpine Ponds. Sunset View Overlook. Here there's a reminder of the role the Civilian Conservation Corps played in national parks and elsewhere. CCC works exist throughout the country. A pan looking west and one looking north. We zoom in a bit looking west. We can see out to Utah's Central Valley and on across Nevada. I'm told in good conditions you can see Las Vegas from here, especially the lights at night. Point Supreme behind the Visitors Center. This little guy was hanging out on one of the corner posts of the guard fence at the overlook when I arrived early in the morning, but had moved back before I got his picture. Here are early morning views to the south and to the north. The colors are a bit stronger a bit later in the morning. Continuing toward the south entrance, we come to a spot where a large stand of dead spruce can be seen. These are visible throughout the monument. It turns out that the damage is caused by a spruce bark beetle, which is native to the area. It is a natural part of the forest life cycle here. Apparently, about every 300 years, there is a major outbreak of these guys, which leads to a forest renewal. This is in contrast to the beetle which is causing severe damage in much of the West, which is invasive. Continuing south, there is a pullout with the story of the Cedar Breaks Lodge, which was built in the 1920s. It was removed in 1972, and not much remains today. The south entrance is just beyond this, and that concludes our tour of the sights from the park road. But one more thing before we end. This is a long view of Brian Head Peak. Note in particular the tiny nubbin at the left side of the top. It turns out that the road you see in the foreground is a fairly good gravel road which takes us to the top of the peak. At the parking area, we discover that the nubbin is a sturdy little shelter at the top, another of those CCC works. From up here, we can look down on the slopes, lifts, and town of Brian Head Resort. And a great view, which includes some of Cedar Breaks on the left, similar colored formations outside the park center, and Bryan Head and the canyon down to Parowan right. Finally, here's my motorized tent and my campsite for the first night. Thanks so much for watching. If you have friends that would enjoy, please pass the link to them.